Welcome to Spirit Healer, a Hearthstone Mercenaries podcast. Your resting point between quests. Let's join our hosts as we talk about this week's events in Hearthstone Mercenaries.
Welcome to Spirit Healer, a Hearthstone Mercenaries podcast, a podcast focused on taking you through Mercenaries news, updates, and weekly topics to keep you at the top of your Mercenaries game. I am dragonrider, joined as always by my fellow hosts Cinder and Siimba. How are you two doing today?
Hello.
It's Thursday, my dude.
Yeah, doing great today, honestly.
Yes. Wait, is it a Bones Day today?
I don't know. I didn't check. Is it a
Good
Bones Day?
question. Let's check. I will to the Twitters. We'll find out if it is Bones Day.
I don't know. This week has felt very weird for me. And maybe, okay, I'll just take this chance to, so we had the big patch, right, which included some mercenary stuff, but we also had a mini set release for standard. So I've been back to playing some standard, and I've just been in a weird headspace mentally too. So with my content and just life, and I don't know, it just felt like a weird week.
Yeah, I think it should have just been a no bones week. We should have just got the week off.
Well, today is Bones Day, so we are we are ripping and raring. We're gonna turn this week around, y'all.
That's right.
I slept last night. I've been having a hard time sleeping, just anxiety things. But boy, I slept last night, and today felt so much better. Oh man,
That's good. That's good. I'm glad. Maybe that's what we need. We need some sleep. But okay,
just sleep, good sleep.
That reminds me of what we were just talking about right before we started recording. So let's just jump into it. We've got just a couple bullet points here for our news, and then we're just going to jump into our main topic and just discuss everything that's kind of happening and the discussion that's going on in the mercenary scene right now. So like I mentioned, we did have the patch 21.6 that launched, came out with the mini set, changes for basically almost every single mode, including the mercenaries. We talked about those last week. And then we've also had a blog post drop that is the what's next for mercenaries, and that's going to be the bulk of our discussion today. But we also wanted to make sure we did say in that post, pretty much there was some stats about how many people have been playing mercenaries, and they're just grateful that people have been playing and all of that. So to thank everyone who tried the patch during the 21.4 cycle. Oh, now I have 221. Oh my gosh. Okay. Are we sure it's a Bones Day?
Listen, numbers are hard.
Do we want to envision a future where there is a patch 224?
Yes and
They
no.
probably do. Yeah. I don't know about
80
right
years
now,
from now.
but
We'll be the hippest old people playing games. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, if you played during that time, during the initial kind of launch phase, the first several weeks, then if you played at any point during that, then on November 9th, you should start seeing a kind of a pop-up in-game giving you 5 mercenary packs just as a celebration and thank you for those that have played. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited for a little bit more packs. Maybe I can, get one of the new ones if I don't have it already. Did you both get a chance to try mercenaries at all since the patch launched?
I tried it a little bit. I did not go through specifically the new quests, nor have I been able to unlock any of the new mercenaries. So content was kind of the same for me. I like the change. I don't know if we're there yet, but I like the change for the task board, how it fills all of the task board. I delete a lot of them because I'm not working on all those mercenaries, but I thought that was a cool change.
Yeah, I've been grinding the task board pretty hard since the game launched. So it was nice to have lots of tasks to do every day. It's been enough that I don't even finish them all. I usually have one left over, by the time I pass out at the end of the day. So that's good. Whether or not that launches me towards PvP anytime soon, we'll see. I still feel like I'm one of those types that just, okay, I need to have everything. I can't go into PvP until I have every merc that I need with every level and every piece of equipment. It's probably a bad idea because I'm not trying to be competitive, and I could probably just go in there and get my requisite games in. But yeah, I'm putting myself in my own mental box. But good news is I got enough tasks to keep me busy. I haven't done the new bounties yet, but again, I will approach those as soon as I feel like I can assemble a team to go after it. I saw somebody suggest that instead of comps, we call them war bands. So I'm going to start calling it a war band.
Oh yes, that was in our Discord. Let me pull that up. Make sure we get
who was that?
A good thank you in there. Oh my gosh, where was that? That was in general. Winter HS. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you, Winter, for having that discussion in our Discord. Yeah, I like that too. We call them war bands. Plus, it sounds epic, right? Like, this is my war band of like fighters and protectors and casters. Like, I don't know. It just sounds sweet.
Goes really well with the WoW / Hearthstone theme too.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Well, we're gonna call them war bands. Okay, so you guys talked about the tasks. So now maybe I was misunderstanding before the patch. When you logged in the next day, like if you cleared off all of your tasks from the board, was it only giving you like the daily plus 2 new ones?
Yeah, so you had the one, like the main quest line, if you still hadn't finished that, the 1 daily for completing 2 runs, and then 2 new tasks for 2 random mercenaries that you own.
Oh, because I actually wasn't, I wasn't caring about that.
My brain is broken. I could have thought it was you got all your slots filled, but oh, wait a minute, that sounded terrible. I thought it filled up the whole task board. I wasn't even paying close enough attention, apparently.
Oh, but there was 4 slots, so like if you left 2 over from the next day, you'd still get 2. It wasn't like there was only 2 slots that would fill up. So if you missed one or skipped 2 days, like your board should have been full.
Maybe that's what it was for me, because I never noticed that. But I also was just doing the before the mysterious I keep calling it mysterious challenger. Oh my gosh, mysterious stranger change. I was just grinding for whatever mercenaries I had in my party, so I didn't care about my task board that much, except for just making sure that I had an empty spot when I found the stranger. So I guess I never realized that, but I feel like it should work that way, so I'm glad that it does now.
Especially since they're so long, right? They're like 18-piece task things. Like, if you have to get a mysterious stranger for all those, 50 mercenaries, times 18, besides the fact that you get some from the stranger, like, that's a lot of days. That is so many days if you only get 2 a day. And then if you don't finish them every day,
And my task board has been kind of stuck because I've got 2 task 8s. One that require taking a specific boon, and I can't get the 2 classes. I think one's caster and one's fighter, and I keep getting protector boons. I'm like, come on, just flip the thing. and then they're usually on the opposite track from the mysterious stranger as well, or from the the portal, whatever. So it's like, okay, so it's been slightly frustrating, but I guess it's designed that way to be a little more involved as you go. Because the early tasks are pretty easy, do 40 damage, boom, done, 5 seconds. But these other ones are a little more involved.
Yeah, it's made me want to run things in waves. Like, I'll do the tasks up to 7 if I need the equipment, but otherwise I'm just trying to get everything to level 30. Then I'll start tasks, then go for finishing tasks, and probably I'll comp in the middle there somewhere. I don't know. I had a thought. It's gone now, but that's like my trajectory typically. I can't do it all at once, right? Because you can't do multiple paths per run. So if all I want right now is my task for task 7 for Tavish, right? There's a boon over there for task 8. I'm not looking for it. I'm going straight to the mysterious stranger because that's what I want. And I guess that's not a huge problem, but it does up your run count quite a bit, especially if you're missing those for task 8, task 12.
Yeah. Well, I guess it really depends on how you're doing it, because that's one thing that I think I've liked about Mercenaries is that it feels like everybody that I ask, some people are like, oh yeah, I'm just leveling whatever I've opened, or there's some people that are like, I really want X mercenary, shout out to Sidisi, Hunter Main. He wanted Rexar, right? He wants Crush. Like, he wants those couple of things. So he's really grinding for just those. And once he got those, he's just grinding those. Then there's some people who are like, I'm just getting whatever. Then there's some people who are like, I want to play PvP. And I've heard that, like, nature is really good. So I'm leveling specifically these nature things. And it's like so many directions that people are taking it, which I think is really cool because it feels a lot more flexible than just be like, here's the top meta deck. Here you go.
Right.
Build it.
Yeah, like the meta, the PvP meta just seems really wildly, like it fluctuates a lot from day to day. There's a Hearthstone mathematician that works up at Blizzard who regularly posts on Twitter the stats for mercenaries. This is just fascinating. Like, I saw Gruul was like the number one yesterday. I'm like, Gruul? Really? But people are running it to counter Diablo. So I'm like, oh wow, that's just like, yeah, I was surprised, but yeah. So it's one more reason I really need to push myself into PvP is just because of how dynamic the meta still is. I think that's definitely a good thing right now.
Yeah, it'll probably be like that for a little while, like quite a while, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Well, let's start talking about some of the kind of specific things that they posted in this Mercenaries What's Next blog post. And I think, okay, so I'm just going to preface this. I think Cinder and I had the same thoughts. I'm curious if you also thought this, Siimba, but I saw, now I'm all over the Discord. Where did you post it? Your thoughts, Cinder? Pretty much it was the same as mine. It was like, there it is. I'll read what Cinder wrote.
Yeah.
I like that they identified the hot topics as hot topics, but it's not saying a whole lot yet. Just we're working on it, basically. That was my impression, too. It's like, okay, well, they pointed out what they've done, which is great. Mm-hmm. They have done a lot so far, but a lot of it is just like, okay, we hear you.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have like a roadmap, be like, okay, we're working on, issues 1 through 10 now, and we'll work on stuff later. But I guess they just wanted people to know that they're already working on it. This wasn't a fire and forget for Team 5. They're working diligently to keep it, to polish it up the way they want it.
Yeah, as far as that goes, I think I also agree pretty wholeheartedly on that as well. Like, I'd like to know the path, because you can't just hear something and then stop whatever you were doing, right? If you had a plan for a new patch, immediately, like, you have to put the new stuff second, otherwise you'll miss things. But to your point of, like, us having the roadmap, like, that would be super nice, because then we would know, like, how long it's going to be. See, I don't have any super major problems that are like going to keep me away, but say you were looking for some one specific thing and they hit on it and you were like, okay, that's awesome. Oh, it's coming in 2 patches. Phenomenal. I will wait for 2 patches per se to hop back into Mercenaries, which is fine, right? Because they still have your attention. It's nice. Mm-hmm. Instead of like, coming back and being super excited, like, oh, it's patch week. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, it's patch week again. Oh, there's nothing. When they could have just like, let us know, this is probably a month out. This is less than a month out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah, I would imagine that some of it is probably hard to set like an exact date, because there's always something with, over the course of history of not just Hearthstone, but like all games, right? There's always something that's going to pop up, or they're going to try to implement one thing into a patch and then all of a sudden it breaks something else. And then it's like, ooh, well, now we can't work on this. We have to fix whatever is broken now. And so things get pushed back or changed up. So yeah, definitely like at least some sort of generic thing would be really great. Maybe not even super specific, but I definitely would like something as opposed to just, yeah, that's a thing. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I mean,
go ahead.
They're probably not in a place yet where they can even deliver that kind of roadmap. It's, this is, they're just at the stage where they're identifying issues.
Yeah. I mean, and I know some people were really kind of upset or disappointed with the post because there wasn't any info. I'm personally like, I'm glad that they at least address the things like, hey, here's the bullet points. We've heard you. These are things we were are in the works or whatever, as opposed to just nothing. Because I feel like that would be way worse if they just like didn't say anything. It'd be like, okay, are they even listening? What have they got going? So I at least like the bit of transparency that they're sharing and say like, hey, these are the things specifically that we definitely have heard you on, that we're working on. We'll have more in the future. So, what are those bullet point things that they talked about? Let's go over them. The first thing you guys already mentioned was the kind of the tasks. But one thing that was also really interesting is they also noted that they made the changes with the task board like we talked about, but then also, they say, for instance, we think Toki is doing her job well, but that her visits could be more interesting. We're also exploring more ways to give players tasks.
Yeah.
That sounds neat.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And instead of just having to race to the mysterious stranger, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, or even just shaking up the daily a little bit, right? Like, instead of the daily just always being beat 2 bounties. Right. Like, okay, sure.
I can do that.
I was gonna do that anyway, but okay.
Yeah.
I like that in standard too. Just like side note, like some are worth 1,000 scrolls and they're really easy, or some are worth 2,000. You have to win, so many more games. I think it'd be awesome if, like you said, it switches up, but there's also easier ones and harder ones, both. Like that would be cool to me. That would yield different levels of rewards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they kind of already have been doing that with the mercenaries, right? You talked about there's 18 tasks right now for each mercenary, and there's varying levels of rewards, like the further you get with those. I mean, it would be kind of cool to have like a little bit of varying with those. Also, this is my side note here. One thing that they don't really mention here, I don't think, but one thing I would like to see with the tasks is actually be able to like refresh, like pick one to like actually refresh and just get a new task for like a different mercenary.
Yeah.
Some of the mercenaries, I'm like,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You just lose it. And it's like, okay, well, cool. I probably wasn't doing that anyways, but it'd be great if I had the opportunity to try to get something for one of the, mercs that I'm working on.
Yeah, even if it was only one per day, there's still a higher chance, right?
Exactly. All right. The next thing that they mention here is that they are announcing that the training hall will be coming in a future patch to let your mercs passively gain experience throughout the day. It says they'll have more details when it's closer to launching. Meantime, we'd love to hear from you about other buildings or systems you want to see added. I kind of want to really turn this over to the two of you, because I feel like you both have a bit more experience with games that are similar to this, or like, getting the XP kind of grind going with stuff than I do. So I really want to hear what the two of you are thinking with this. What do you like this? What do you think it's going to be? What do you hope it is? I don't know. I'm going to turn it to you. Whoever wants to go first.
Rock, paper, scissors, Sid Lizard, Spock. All right, so I win. I think from what it sounds like, you're going to be able to just drop a mercenary in there and do nothing, and it will gain over time slight amounts of XP. What I'm hoping that it is you can put one or more mercenaries in there, and then based on how much experience your other mercenaries gain, the mercenary that you leave in there will gain a reduced amount, probably largely reduced, but that's okay because you're not doing anything with them, amount of XP, based on what you're doing. So if we were doing air elemental, it's getting basically nothing. If you're doing heroics, a little bit more. If you're winning in PvP, maybe a little bit more. So based on whatever kind of grind you're doing or however you want to play, you can tailor that to give yourself more or less experience if you just want to have fun and don't really care and just like say want to get one of your murlocs up. Or if you are doing one of the farming parties, right, where you have your Rag, Antonitis, Geddon, right, and you have 3 in your party, you're like, okay, I also want to work on this 4th one that I'm going to stick in here next once my next mercenary gets to level 30. You can do heroics and get a little bit more experience for it. That's what I'd like. And I don't know whether that would be good or bad for the game, but that's what I think, and that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a question of, it's a little speculative right now, but is it an XP share kind of thing where it's relative to what you're doing in the game? Like you said, Siimba, or is it an idling feature where I pick this mercenary or these 3 or these 6 or however many, and it's just XP over time. They just sit in the box for 24 hours. You come back and they're level 15 or level 30 or or whatever the rate of gain is. But I mean, either way, I think this is a plus, because there's going to be a point where your collection is going to be saturated with mercs, and you're going to be like, well, I want to level these up, but I don't want to have to go all the way back to barons. Like I want to be able to take to field this merc in these more advanced bounties without having to waste the time grinding through low level stuff with them, or power leveling them with with a higher level party. So it's good. It's a good idea. I just want to see what the implementation is, because that's of course, if it's a zero effort thing, I mean, it's going to be good no matter what it is. Like, you're getting free XP. So just as long as it's worth it to keep your merc off the bench to get the XP, yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah, 100%. And if it is super passive, is it only passive while you're in game? Does it just go while you're not playing? Does it work while you're playing different game modes like standard and arena? Like, I don't even know how they would work that out. I mean, I know these guys are really smart, so they'd figure out a way. But there's so many different options. I'm just like, give me some. I like this.
Some way to level more than just a couple things at a time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I've been thinking this whole time while you guys were talking about it. Now, I feel like I'm in the minority here. A lot of people, I guess, didn't like it. I was playing WoW back when they had garrisons. Okay, a lot of people did not like garrisons. But for me, I'm like, I was not into like PvP and doing that kind of stuff. Like, this is why I play card games. I don't like multiplayer games. So for me, I'm like, garrison, I can do stuff on my own. Yes, this is perfect. And they had like the kind of like task board that you had like certain little missions, and you could assign certain, of your little followers and stuff to go do that mission. And it was, whatever, you had like easier, less rewarding missions that would be like 2 hours. And then they'd come back, so you couldn't use that mercenary during that 2 hours or whatever, your follower. I would kind of like to see something like that. I think that would be fun. Like it's almost like you're having your mercenaries go venture out on their own and like bring back treasures or something, and that could be time based and they get XP based on that. I don't know if that's what they're doing. I feel like the things you guys are suggesting is probably much more likely, but it's interesting because, again, like you said, Cinder, we don't really know anything. It's all speculation at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's a thing too. That's you're talking about garrisons. I didn't play much of that, but they have Final Fantasy 14 has a similar feature as well, where you can send out your little NPC hirelings, minions, whatever, and they're gone for 18 hours or whatever, and they come back with XP and items and et cetera, et cetera. So could be something similar to that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never played it either, so I didn't know they had something similar too. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, we could spend a whole lot of time talking about Final Fantasy 14. We ain't gonna do that.
No. Yeah, and it sounds like that's maybe coming sooner rather than later. I don't know, in a future patch. That's, again, not very descriptive, but we'll see. We'll see how that is. But let's move on to the Fighting Pit little part of their blog. So they talked about like the changes that they've made, right? About people were exploiting the PvP. They adjusted, you needed to defeat mercenaries for it to count as a win, all of that. They're going to continue looking at it, but they're also running the first PvP season all the way through the end of November. And then after that, Mercenaries seasons will reset monthly, just like the ranked, which I think most of us probably figured it would. At least that's what the reward chests and stuff kind of made it look like. So we have confirmation on that, I guess.
Yeah, I like seeing that, because the way that I was playing PvP was like, I don't want to get left behind. So now I feel like I can sort of relax, enjoy the new features, actually check out the PvE, level all my mercs to 30, and then when it resets, I'll be able to test out all the comps, super chill. I say chill, it's comp, but differently with a bunch of other options. Because I want to say I was freaking out, but like PvP is what I was most excited about. So to see people hitting 8K, 9K, 10K, I was like, I'm I'm never going to catch up. I'm gaining 43, what is it, MMR per win. I'm never going to get to 8,000, especially if I'm doing stuff for PvE. But then I had to do PvE because I didn't have the mercenaries that were, meta breaking, quote unquote, to fight some of the meta comps. And I was like, I will not play for 3 days and see what comes in this next update. And the next update has been great. But yeah, MMR resetting is exciting for me.
Yeah, especially for people who haven't been into PvP yet, like moi. So having a regular fresh slate to start from is a good thing. It's going to keep people in the mode and in the fighting pit as opposed to not. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think too, like, I've noticed for me personally, when I've seen things like the Battlegrounds that, the rating only resets like every couple months or, things like that, it does one of two things. I either can climb really, really fast early, and then I'm just like, okay, cool, that's the rating I'm going to get to, or that's as far as I want to go, and then I don't touch it again until the next reset. Or then I almost feel like that I'm just like, why bother? Because it's not really going to do much, and I don't want to spend that much time trying to climb all of that before I get new rewards or new something else. But I think the monthly pacing feels at least fairly decent for me, because then it's already a time frame we're used to using, right? So I can be like, okay, it's easy to remember. I know when it's going to reset. If I push really quickly early and get there in the first week, cool, then in a couple weeks I'll come back and do it again. If I want to spend the time pushing even further, then cool, I could do that too.
And that's really it too, right? It's this is the schedule we're already on as a community, so let's not add another calendar to try to keep track of.
Yes. All right. The next talking point is talking about the travel point, which that's where you go to do your bounties. But one thing that's really interesting here is that they're talking kind of about the difference between regulars and heroics. The differences there. They'll continue to add in late game content by additional challenging bounties, kind of like they did with this last one. But the pacing and rewards are things that they'll continue to address. So it also says they're currently working on another adjustment to how the Mysterious Stranger works. Don't know what that means. Hopefully it's a good thing. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe it just it pops up faster. That would be nice. Like, because right now it's I think the best chance of seeing the stranger is like 58%. In I think Lord Banehollow's bounty, which is not great. That's a coin flip, basically. It would be nice if it just popped up more reliably, or there was just a more reliable method to make it pop so that you can, start chasing down tasks.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, like, the other point that they mentioned earlier about, exploring more ways to give players tasks. I think if we had more variety of ways to get tasks for the mercenaries, I think we wouldn't be as upset about the Mysterious Stranger things. Like, that could be one way to get tasks. The task board is a second way. If there were 4, 5, maybe 6 ways to get tasks, I feel like I would be okay with that showing up less, because it'd be like, okay, well, I could get it from maybe doing some PvP, or I could get it from, whatever. I could get it from, maybe I randomly get one by doing a harder thing with the training hall or something, that would be helpful. But
there have definitely been spots, a couple of days here and there where I'm like, okay, I have no tasks, and trying to climb up to a Mysterious Stranger and only getting a 50-50 doesn't sound terribly appealing, so I'm not going to play for the rest of the day, which is not a true exit point, but I know that's not what they want people to do. They want to keep people engaged. So yeah, I think more ways to farm tasks is good. More ways to find strangers, which is kind of the same thing, would be good. And unrelated, as I'm currently grinding tasks while we record this podcast, I just ran into Edwin as a bounty boss, like a bounty encounter, which is a first. I've never seen that before. That's cool.
I didn't know Edwin was a bounty boss either.
Yeah, well, not a boss, but like one of the encounters you can roll apparently is Edwin.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rad.
On the note of finding other ways to get tasks, it'd be interesting if, like we were talking last week about people who have completely maxed mercenaries or maxed accounts. I'm talking about max, right? And so they're just getting coins that they'll never be able to use or trade. Well, what if you have like that mercenary in your party, and you've finished a heroic bounty, and it's like the game is like, oh, I was gonna give you coins for this mercenary that can't use them. Instead, I will give you a task. And obviously that only works up to 18, and it'd probably have to not be a 100% thing. But if there was an option for that, maybe, or if you win a PvP match with that mercenary in your comp and you've only, gone through 8, 9, 10 of your tasks of the 18 for that mercenary, pops you up one of those.
Yeah, that's like mind-boggling to me. Like the highest task I've gotten through any of the mercs is 8. And that's only because it's like I got them to 7 and then stopped, and then they showed up randomly for the daily. So but 18 tasks, man.
I mean, the rewards do get better, and I think it's 6 tasks, 16, 17, and 18 reward you a mercenaries pack plus like higher amount of coins. It's like 75 and then 80 coins, I think, for that mercenary. So you're getting a pack too towards the end of each mercenary. So
yeah, free coins and free portraits. Woo! Sorry.
Oh, I know that there are people who have spent a lot of money on packs since the game came out, and those individuals still don't have like every portrait, that is wild to me. Like I can't believe the drop rates are that tight on like those diamond portraits and stuff, that you could like open hundreds and hundreds of packs and still not get every portrait.
Yeah. Well, actually, I feel like there's a good chunk of information here in terms of collection, and you both are hitting on it. So let's go ahead and talk about this last chunk of the blog post then. And speaking of portraits, that's in there. There's a couple things on portraits. Talking about like the pre-purchase portraits. I guess there was confusion with how like the diamond portraits interacted with other mercenaries products and stuff, which I think we've talked a lot about before. But also they say that also more portraits. There's players who are very interested in finding them. But it also says, while the only current way to get portraits is via packs, we'll be adding more direct ways to acquire portraits and are considering other changes to how portraits are obtained. That sounds good.
Phenomenal. That's a good sentence.
I'm that whole portion of the blog post kind of blew me away a little bit, because it's like, so you've got some people, so you're trying to appeal to one group that says, I don't care about portraits at all. I just want to get all the mercs and get them all leveled. And then you have another camp of people that says, I don't care about leveling anything. I just want all the portraits. And they're going to try and satisfy both of those camps, which is like, that's a big ask, really, because there's only so much you can like bifurcate the way you interact with the game in order to satisfy, different kinds of players. So I'm really kind of fascinated on how they plan to solve both of those problems, because they are antithetical problems that exist. So, and they've identified them as problems that they want to fix. So I'm curious. I want to see how that plays out.
I don't even know if they know, because literally in the blog post it says, we've gotten lots of feedback on both sides of the fence. Those who only care about the functional value of having all the mercs, and those who love the portraits. We don't have anything to announce today, but we wanted to let you know we've heard your feedback and are looking into this. I do not envy them, because that just sounds like a hot mess right now. And it'd be like, how do you make both sides of the fence, as they say? Like, how do you do that? How do you make everybody happy? I think one way to do that is to add more ways to get portraits, so that people who only want mercs from packs could be happy getting them, and then people who want to get the portraits have more options to get them. I feel like that's at least a starting point.
My mind's just boggled. I stopped using brain power to think about it, and I was just like, I'll see what they come up with, because I don't get it, but I'm here for it. Like, you're trying, I see you, so we'll figure it out when we figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very complicated one. I think all of us are just like, yes, that is the thing. Good luck, Blizzard. Good luck, devs.
Good luck.
Let us know what you've come up with. we'll be here grinding away in bounties.
Yep. I'll say what I said, a couple of times ago again. Like, my personal most important thing for any game is just the people can play the game. And that's why I'm on the other side of the fence, where like I don't necessarily care about portraits, which is not to say that cosmetics are bad. Almost every game has cosmetics. Even games where you can't change your like skin of the card or your character, like gun cosmetics, and gun buddies and stuff. Like every game has cosmetics. I'm just like, I want to play the game.
Yeah, I think cosmetics as a feature, especially as kind of the the transactional feature of any game, that's a good thing. You don't ever want to be in a position where competition matters in a game and you can pay to to be better at competition. Like the competition portion should be on as even a playing field as possible, and then let people pay for the cosmetics. That's how I've approached almost every game that I've played like this, where it's like I'm not gonna spend money on the packs, but you want to give me a hero portrait, you want to give me a special card back, I'll actually pay money for that. Those are the kind of things where it's it's a feature that appeals directly to me, and it makes me happier while I play the game, so I will pay money for that. I would be terribly frustrated if people could pay to pay to win, right? Like I can pay X dollars to get this merc leveled up all the way and have all the items. Like that would feel bad. I wouldn't hate it necessarily. I think it would be a feature that I could understand existing, for people who wanted to play tournaments and stuff as kind of like semi-pro players, but it also would feel bad me trying to do it free to play, jumping into the fighting pit too. So they don't want people exiting the game or the portions of the game for those kind of reasons, I'm sure. So if they keep it to the cosmetic side as far as transactions, yes, that is definitely a good thing. That said, I would love to see them be able to just like, oh, did you want this particular alternate portrait? Give us $1. There you go. Like, I want the Baby King Crush. Please give me the Baby King Crush. That's all I want. Like, I will give you $2 if you give me Baby King Crush.
Small smash, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think Baby Mukla is the only one I'm missing to complete I'm calling it cute comp, but cute warband. And I'm just going to use all the cute portraits, but I still need Baby Mukla, and I'm sad. And I am not going to invest in a bunch of packs on the hope that I find specifically that. Also, there is one thing that is also a little bit interesting, I think, too. They talk about in terms of the packs. It does say for each player who pre-purchased any Mercenaries bundles, we will be adding the base version of the pre-purchase bundle Legendary Mercenary into your collection. So, for example, if you bought the Diablo pre-purchase, they'll give you the base Diablo portrait. Same for Lich King and Sylvanas. If you already own the base version, they're going to give you 100 coins for that mercenary. Those will be added by November 16th. But, okay. At least they're recognizing and just being like, hey, this might have been confusing. Maybe we didn't explain it well. We're going to at least give you a little bit.
Does anybody ever use base portraits once you have a golden one or a baby one or a diamond one?
Not me. I'm not in that camp, so I don't know.
I have.
Listen, if they're gonna give me the Diablo base portrait, don't. Just give me the coins. Like, I'm not gonna swap to the base portrait. I feel like that is here is a thing because you asked for things. Personally, like that's weird to me. Like not one of the middle portraits, one of the golden ones, not a special one because you pre-order. Like, here's this base portrait that you won't use. Can I dust it? Can I dust the base portrait for coins afterwards? No.
Yeah, can't do that either. Which we've kind of touched on that in previous episodes. Like, there's no currency exchange in the game. Like, if you have stuff you don't want, you can't get rid of it. It's just in your collection and you don't get any coins for it, which would be nice if that were not the case.
Yeah, base portrait, that's not the way to go there. I'm just gonna put my foot down on that one. But I am glad that they're trying to be nice and give the player base something, for pre-ordering and all that. But like, no.
I will say though, as far as like the the issue with, the kind of the currency exchange not really being in the game is it's not terribly difficult to get legendaries with coins. I've kind of found that as I've just been playing and scooping up coins on bounties, like I've crafted 2 or 3 legendaries. Like I just crafted Anduin today, and I wasn't even chasing Anduin, which was probably a mistake because he seems real good. But like just the fact that I was able to craft that just by nature of playing the game, for an hour or two every day, that's a good thing. So it kind of goes back to the portraits being the chase issue, right? Like either you're chasing them or you get them and you don't want them, and both are. This goes right back to that issue. Like, how are they going to satisfy both camps on this?
I think that's a good thing as well. Because you goes, oh, that was not English. You can also tell when you hover over the chests, like what coins you have a higher chance of getting. So if you want one mercenary, you can run that bounty over and over and over and over and over, while you're getting your XP for your mercenaries and stuff, to try and like hard farm for those coins, which is awesome. I assume it comes as a level 1 nothing upgraded mercenary though. I haven't crafted anything.
Yeah, no, it's just a base level 1. Everything's level 1. Yeah.
Well, that makes me kind of sad. Well, I understand that one though. Like I won't complain about that one. That one makes sense, but it's just like 500 coins isn't even a third of what you need to fully upgrade a mercenary once you have them. And so you're like, oh, I got this legendary. Now it's level 1. Nice. But the fact that it's accessible and you don't have to guess, if it didn't tell you what coins could come out of what chests, you'd just be hunting blind forever. So I do like that that's in there. Because I've been running the same task or quest for Malfurion coins. Just a couple times a day, over and over and over, and I'm like, I'll eventually get to, I'm almost at 400 coins, and I'm just like, cool, this is awesome. I'll have Malfurion by the end of the week, easy.
Now, the one thing I will say that upsets me about crafting Anduin specifically, as I'm looking at the alternate portraits for Anduin, none of them are the sexy himbo Anduin Manduin portrait from the storybook. Like, no. I need my himbo in here, y'all.
Man,
thanks. Secret portrait, please.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That one is actually, I feel like that has been one of the portraits that I have seen the most talk about across social medias and stuff. So yeah, I'd love to see more things like that. Oh yeah, people are all over that portrait. They want it.
Yeah.
More things like that, put into Mercenaries as well. They say more portraits, so why not things like that? That'd be fun.
As long as I'm still getting playable cards instead of the extra portraits. Yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah. I don't want to open packs and get a whole bunch of extra portraits for stuff. Please let me fill my collection. That is what I want. That's my first goal when opening a pack. Portraits can come later.
Yep, I agree.
But at least the majority of this whole thing was good. I think I'd say 85-90% of this whole update episode, it's good stuff. They're churning out a lot of really good things right now.
Yeah, they're trying. That's the key thing. They're watching how people interact with the game. They're watching social media to see where the exit points are, and they're trying to mold the game to fit the experience that people want. So that's a good thing. I mean, it's only been 3 weeks. It's only been 3 weeks, and look how much interaction there's been with the community and how many changes they've made to the mode. That's a good sign.
Oh, absolutely. There's been a ton. I feel like they've done more changes and kept up with the community more than some games do after 3 years of the game being out. They've really been very active and keeping things up. And that's why I said, even though this blog post does seem a lot okay, cool, that's a thing. We'll figure it out. I at least like that because at least we know, hey, they are listening. They're looking at all of these different aspects of the game and they're trying to figure out ways to improve it, ways to address the things that the community wants to see. And, that's fantastic.
Thumbs up.
But I think in terms of the actual topic and news and updates, that is pretty much it. So either of you have any closing thoughts before we wrap it up and close out for this week?
I'm just excited to eventually get the new mercenaries that they put in. I say that as I don't even have all the original ones, but I'm excited. It looked like Edwin was going to be not necessarily overpowered, but super fun to use. So like that kind of had me shaking. I was like, I want to get that one. I want to see what he's like.
Yeah, I want to get Cookie at some point, just because Murlocs are fun. Oh, on the topic of Edwin, I wanted to point this out. So all the mercenaries seem to have, their baby portraits, right? Like early in their career or when they're baby animals or whatever. So Edwin's baby portrait, quote unquote, is him as a stonemason, and I feel like that probably is a reference that's going to be lost on a lot of the audience of the mercenaries play audience, and I wanted to explain that real quick. So in the grand lore of Warcraft, Stormwind, the big human city, the capital of the Alliance, was at one point destroyed during a war. And when the Alliance had commissioned the stonemasons to rebuild the city, Edwin was one of the leaders of he's like a labor leader for a foreman or something, right? So once Stormwind was finished and it came time for them to get paid, all of the rich people in Stormwind went, nah, we're not gonna pay you. It's fine. And of course, Edwin was like, pardon? We're starving here. We rebuilt your city. How dare you? So Edwin got all of his stonecutter buddies to go rogue and start taking it out of the hide of the merchants as they were coming in and out of Stormwind, and they became a pirate band or a bandit band. And that's how the Defias Brotherhood started, was because they were like, we're gonna go Robin Hood on y'all if you're not gonna pay us for for all this work we did for you. So that is why he is a stonecutter in that little portrait thingy, because that was before the Defias Brotherhood was even a thing.
That's actually super cool, because I know almost no lore. Like, I'll tell people all the time, I got into Hearthstone on accident, and I'm so glad that I did, but I was shown the game my freshman year of college and just never stopped playing as a person that never ever touched World of Warcraft. So I know none of that stuff.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite bit of lore from Warcraft, because it's like Edwin wasn't the villain, Edwin was the victim, and he had to turn to not nice means to get what he was owed, and really never got what he was owed, and became a villain, because of the power and the influence of Stormwind being able to push him out of society and force him to become to live as a bandit.
Wow. Yeah, I actually I played some WoW, but I was also, kind of just speed through things, do quests. I didn't really get in depth with the lore, but that is actually very fascinating, and that's really cool. I think even for some of us that played, we probably don't know a lot of that lore stuff.
Yeah, and also it's been, Warcraft has been in existence for over 20 years now, so a lot of that lore is kind of faded into antiquity. You can only find it on a wiki somewhere nowadays,
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that, and hopefully the audience appreciated that and enjoyed that as well. If you did, we would love to hear that as well. Please give us some feedback, and if more people enjoyed that like we did, then maybe we can sprinkle in some lore bits every now and then as well. Yeah, exactly. So we would definitely love to hear that. If you want to get in touch with us, let us know if you enjoyed that, what your thoughts are on all of this what's next discussion. Then let us know. Find the show on YouTube. You can find us everywhere. You can find audio podcasts, and then reach out, tell us how you liked it on Twitter at SpiritHealerPod, or give us an email at spirithealerpodcast@gmail.com, and then jump in that Discord that we talked about as well. Thank you again to Winter HS for that warband suggestion as well. And of course, as every week, we want to thank Purple Cat for the use of the amazing music that we use for the show. And to find more from each of us, you can find me twitter.com or on Twitter at Donnie. Wow, I'm just, it's a day. Twitter at DonnieDK, DAWNIEDK, or Twitch and YouTube, dragonrider DK. And if you want to hear me talking all about everything standard, you can catch me on the Dr. 3 podcast. And Cinder, where can we hear more from you?
It's Twitter is at Cinder Ascendant. That's it.
Perfect.
Siimba.
Yeah, Siimba, Siimba TV _ on all platforms. If there's a platform that you think of that I haven't mentioned before, you can find all those links under my Twitch.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for listening, checking out the show, and thank you for choosing us as your resting place of choice.